culmination of the Champions League Final in 2026, it features a match of European giants in Budapest. Fresh off their first Premier League title in over 2 decades, Arsenal, who conceded just 6 goals in the entire Champions League, up against PSG, who are the defending champions of the Champions League, having won 5-0 last year against Inter Milan at Munich. Both teams are 13 months removed from their last Champions League matchup, where PSG won both legs, 1-0 at the Emirates, 2-1 at the Parc des Princes. It's the first time since the PSG Bayern Munich game in 2020 where both finalists were champions of their respective domestic leagues. Arsenal is making their second appearance in the Champions League final, PSG their third. PSG lost in the 2020 edition, while Arsenal lost in 2006 to Ronaldinho's Barcelona. Arsenal's path had them beating Bayer Leverkusen 3-1, Sporting CP 1-0, and Atletico Madrid 2-1, while PSG took down Monaco 5-4, Chelsea 8-2, Liverpool 4-0, and Bayern 6-5. The 5-4 final in the first leg of that game being one of the greatest matches of football ever played in this decade. Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2026 Champions League Final at Budapest at the Puskás Arena. I am Alec Nava, and one of the big differences is how open the two legs were, how things could have gone the other way. Sure, in addition to the 3 goals, PSG also missed a penalty and hit the goalpost twice, but Arsenal forced a half-dozen miracle saves, free off Gabriel Martinelli from Gianluigi Donnarumma, PSG's former goalkeeper, and the expected goals, even counting the missed penalty kick from Vitinha, favored Arsenal by a whopping 4.54 to 2.90. A year later, PSG has the same core, with one major exception. Donnarumma is no longer the goalkeeper, he's now at Manchester City. Matvey Safonov is in goal. He's done well since winning the starting job halfway through the season, but he's not Donnarumma. Not yet, anyway. When PSG rode a wave of momentum to the hammering of Inter in the final last year, they were firing on all cylinders, like in the epic semi-final against Bayern. Such was the case last season when they took out Barcelona in extra time in the second leg. Arsenal has transformed in every department. William Saliba is the only holdover in the back four. Jurrien Timber is out, Gabriel is back, and I have a better defender at left back, Piero Hincapié. And in the midfield, they have a deep line playmaker on the bench with Martin Zubimendi, and a creative alternative to Martin Odegaard and Eberechi Eze on the bench, waiting for his turn, as Miles Lewis-Skelly has been inserted into the starting 11. A hard-running alternative such as Noni Madeke could be inserted onto the wings from their bench pieces. And up front, Victor Gyökeres and Kai Havertz have thrived in the striker position. PSG is on the verge of history. They could become the 10th team all-time to win the Champions League in consecutive years. The way they played last year was perfection. This time it's going to be different. They're playing the other best team in Europe this season. Nuno Mendes can run through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Kvaratskhelia Kvaratskhelia moves mountains to cover him on defense. Luis Enrique coaches free-flowing football on part of Pep Guardiola's Barcelona teams, in which Guardiola was the Barcelona manager from 2008 to 2012. There's a connection there as well, as Guardiola and Enrique have one thing in common, as they both managed Barcelona, as Enrique managed it in the mid-2010s after Guardiola left. Kvaratskhelia has been the best player in the Champions League this season, 10 goals and 6 assists in 15 games, and no one has been able to stop him. His creativity and clutch side have no limits. Ousmane Dembele, through his movement and his intelligence, will be a handful to deal with, as well as Desiree Doué, last year's man of the match. Enrique dreams of fielding 10 outfield players who can fill every position. That sounds a little far-fetched, but something would have gone very wrong if Dembele is making last-man tackles. However, the spirit of what he's been wanting out of all of his players on the pitch is to be comfortable with the ball in every area. The defensive third, the middle third, and the attacking third. If PSG settles into the rhythm and moves the ball with ease up and down, nothing's going to stop them. The final last year was billed as PSG's high-octane attack against Inter's sturdy defense, and PSG won 5-0. It's not going to be surprising if they targeted the Gunners' right flank, given the injury concerns at fullback, and given that Kvaratskhelia and Mendes is arguably the best combo in the world going forward. They'll also need to discipline themselves on tackles and duels in the defensive third to give Arsenal as few set pieces as possible. A win for Arsenal would seal the greatest season in their club's history. They have never won the Champions League or a European Cup and reached the final just once, losing to Barca 20 years ago. Now that they've won their first Premier League title since 2004, Mikel Arteta's side stands one game away from immortality. They have given up just 6 goals in Europe, 4 of them from stellar goalkeeper David Raya. A successful containment of PSG would cement Arteta's status as one of today's truly elite coaches. Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka are going to be vital for England during the FIFA World Cup, as they are both part of this Arsenal squad, but some doubt their ability to consistently define the brightest lights. Arsenal is physical, athletic, defensively sturdy, and are very exceptional in set pieces. They would fit perfectly with the 2010s Premier League style of football, where ironically manager Arsene Wenger was coaching them to play a different style. Arteta, Pep Guardiola, and many others have spoke about staying true to classic English football values while simultaneously taking the game forward. The Gunners team isn't afraid to be old school when they need be. That has fueled them in their way to the Champions League Final. William Saliba and Gabriel are the bedrock of this team as a center-back duo. They've won 13 games by 1 goal, and the center-backs provide the foundation, grinding out the tight wins. Rice's ability to win the midfield is vital, as the effect Saka often has on Arsenal's forward line. Gyökeres was criticized for much of the season about his hold-up play and quality against the best, but he heads into Budapest with 21 goals. Arteta's men are well equipped to suffer without the ball for longer, but there are going to be moments when the ball must stick when they move up and down the pitch. Of course, we know about the goal-scoring leaders for PSG. Kvaratskhelia with 10, Dembele with 7, Vitinha with 6, Desiree Doué has 5. And don't sleep on Bradley Barcola, who has 11 goals in domestic play with PSG, on the way to a championship for PSG. Gabriel Martinelli leads Arsenal with 6 goals in the Champions League, but he's going to be counted on off the bench. He has 13 appearances throughout this year's Champions League. As we go on to our starting 11s for both sides, we begin with PSG. In goal is Matvey Safonov. The center backs are William Pacho and Marquinhos. The left back is Nuno Mendes. The right back is Achraf Hakimi. The midfielders are Joao Neves, Vitinha, and Fabian Ruiz. The wingers are Kvaratskhelia and Doué. The striker is Dembele. So PSG is utilizing a 4-3-3 starting 11. Arsenal has a 4-2-3-1 lineup. Arsenal center backs consist of Saliba and Gabriel. The left back is Christian Mosquera. The right back is Pierre Hincapié. The defensive midfielders are Declan Rice and Miles Lewis-Skelly. The attacking midfielder is Martin Odegaard. The wingers are Bukayo Saka and Leandro Trossard. And the striker is Kai Havertz. The Killers just concluded their pre-game show with their live performance. Remember last year when Linkin Park kicked off the festivities with the pre-game performance at Allianz Arena in Munich just before PSG delivered a butt kicking on Inter Milan. So here's PSG's complete roster, which is Achraf Hakimi, their vice captain, Lucas Beraldo, Marquinhos Zabrani. Marquinhos is the team captain, Kavica Kvaratskhelia, Fabian Ruiz, Gonzalo Ramos, Ousmane Dembele, Desiree Doué, Vitinha, Kangin Lee, Lucas Hernandez, Seni Mayulu, Nuno Mendes, Joe Fernandez, Bradley Barcola, Lucas Chevalier, Warren Zaire-Emery, Matvey Safonov, Quentin Jantu, Ibrahim Abaye, William Pacho, João Neves, and the third goalkeeper Renato Marin. Arsenal's complete roster: David Raya, William Saliba, Christian Mosquera, Ben White, Piero Hincapié, Gabriel, Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, Eberechi Eze, Gabriel Martinelli, Jurrien Timber, Kepa Arrizabalaga, Victor Gyökeres, Christian Norgard, Leandro Trossard, Noni Madeke, Mikel Merino, Kai Havertz, Ricardo Calafiori, Tommy Setford, Martin Zubimendi, Declan Rice, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. We know about the narrative surrounding Rice and Saka, considering they are part of the English national team. What would this do for Ousmane Dembele in France's campaign for revenge in the 2026 World Cup? Dembele was part of the 2022 team that was the runner-up to Argentina in that classic of a World Cup final, which Argentina won in the penalty shootout 4-2 after both teams drew 3-3 after extra time. Doué is also part of the squad, and these two are teammates together here at PSG. One of their opponents from last year's Champions League Final, Marcus Thuram, was also named to the French national team. Warren Zaire-Emery and Lucas Hernandez also part of the French national team. Keep an eye out on them, in which they can do serious noise entering the FIFA World Cup. The World Cup begins on June 10th, with Mexico taking on South Africa in the first match at Ciudad de Mexico. Our referees for tonight's action, today for those watching in the Western Hemisphere, today for those watching in North and South America, for tonight's action, our lead referee is Daniel Seibert. John Cito and Rafael Fotin are the assistants. Sandro Scharer is the fourth referee. It's an all-German crew on the pitch on the officiating side. Bastian Danker is the lead VAR official. Robert Schroeder is the assistant VAR official. Both teams' players are on the pitch now for the introductions. And what would be at stake here for players like Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, Ousmane Dembele, Kavica Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, everybody involved. Kvaratskhelia is widely regarded as one of the greatest Georgian players of all time, and he's already in his young career. This will decide who can play in this Champions League final on their terms. We've already had the starting 11s announced by both PSG and Arsenal. And much has been said about controversy regarding Arsenal's Premier League title with their set pieces. Safonov, the goalkeeper for PSG, Mendes, Pacho, Marquinhos, and Hakimi on the defensive side. Fabian, Vitinha, and Neves on the midfielders. Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, and Doué for PSG on the forward side. It's the same lineup from last year, minus Gianluigi Donnarumma. That's the only change for Luis Enrique's starting 11 in comparison to last year, with Safonov in goal in the place. Both teams here joining their respective clubs. With PSG, the French team, up against Arsenal, the English team. So Daniel Seibert, the lead referee, he's out there as both teams are shaking hands. It's an all-German crew. On the officiating side, Martin Odegaard and Marquinhos, the two captains, saying good luck to one another. As we get introduced to Arsenal's lineup, Raya is the goalkeeper. Hincapié, Gabriel, Saliba, and Mosquera on the defensive side. Rice and Lewis Skelly are the midfielders. On the defensive end, Trossard, Odegaard, and Saka. On the forwards, Odegaard being the attacking midfielder, and Havertz is the striker, all alone up front. A 4-2-3-1 formation for Arsenal. And keep an eye on which coach is going to use their tactics here. It will be Luis Enrique's free-flowing style of football, or is it Mikel Arteta's old-school style of football, which would be perfect for the 2010s era. This is the 2026 UEFA Champions League Final. This is my 4th straight year covering the Champions League Final on Twitter Spaces. Now, also covering on Twitch. This is the most prestigious cup in European football in the domestic level. The Champions League Final, a winner will be crowned tonight in Hungary. It is 6:02 p.m. Central European and Standard Time. The best offensive attack and the best defense going up against one another for a second year in a row. As the whistle blows, we're underway here. PSG scored less than 12 minutes into last year's Champions League Final. Well, I have to understand that again because I misheard that, as PSG and Arsenal are slowly playing this towards the far side of the pitch. The relentless attack of Paris against the relentless defense of Arsenal. Of course, you would compare and contrast the two styles of play, as early as it's a foul against Achraf Hakimi as he tangled up Leandro Trossard. Could Mikel Arteta get the vindication that he has been looking for all season long, after fans were shaking their heads in disapproval on the Premier League title? This will be a free kick for Arsenal, and it'll be taken by Declan Rice. Everybody's lining up in front of the 18-foot box. As Rice gets set, he'll send this one up. Let's bounce this up off of what I believe was number 8. Trying to get a number where there's no number 8. It looked to be Gabriel, the defender. And the anticipation continues on for both of these clubs. PSG won the French League 1. Arsenal won the English Premier League, as Safonov takes his time with this. He'll direct everybody to the front, and they'll be ready to receive at midfield for whoever is a lucky winner of this ball. He kicks this one out of bounds inadvertently to be sent up by Arsenal on the way back. Nothing there, and now PSG will reset. Hakimi leading up the far side is the right back. Arsenal's pressuring. Of course, Arsenal wants to attack with ferociousness, especially on set pieces. That's their best shot at scoring goals. As much as is repeated time and time again, as Mendes had that one batted away. It'll be settled down by PSG. Back in position at the left side is Fabian. Neves is going to look and defer over to Fabian. Dembele waits. As PSG still possession of this ball. They're being patient here, waiting for an attacking lane to break open. That's what Luis Enrique wants. But is Vitinha still patiently with this, holding onto the ball for a long time. Now up the far side, Hakimi will send back to Marquinhos. Hakimi is one of the key faces of the leadership here at PSG. And boy, is he an excellent defender representing the Moroccan national team this June. Kvaratskhelia comes back with the ball. And PSG still hang on through several double teams. Mendes. When will he deliver this to Kvaratskhelia? He decides to go back. And Paris Saint-Germain is going to wait a little longer. As Arsenal's doing a good job of not letting up those passing lanes be developed. The breakout pass was denied for Dembele, and Arsenal is going to come back down the near side. PSG recollects, and Mendes sends this one off of one of Arsenal's guys. That's Christian Mosquera. 4 minutes deep. In the last few years, the winner of the Champions League Final has their goalkeeper record a clean slate. Deep inbound intended for Dembele was knocked away by Gabriel. And a hard foul here. That's Fabian. Wanted to get past this Arsenal defense, and Fabian is shaking his head here on this foul, which he bumped up Bukayo Saka. The ball went away. That would have been a yellow card in any circumstance, as Miles Lewis-Skelly will retreat back. He and Declan Rice are the two defensive midfielders, as Rice will volley this one ahead into the middle third of the pitch. Advanced up ahead, and here's a 2-on-1 for Arsenal. Racing back is Nuno Mendes. Great chance here at the penalty box. Up and in! Kai Havertz! Oh my goodness! On the 2-on-1! Immediately! Arsenal! A seeing eye shot from an impossible angle! And Havertz gets his 4th goal of this tournament! Arsenal is up and running quickly! The first great chance by Arsenal was a volley pass up ahead through a double team that sprung Havertz loose. William Pacho was late to get back. And the finish by Havertz was a beautiful one as Marquinhos tried to get this ahead. Good block by Trossard on the pass, and it left Matvey Safonov with no chance to shut this down. Pacho was late. And Havertz picks his spot, top shelf. And last year's defending champions are stunned at this opening goal. That is scored the 6th minute of action. Havertz from Trossard. Raya sends this through. Bouncing ball is sent onto the field of play. Kvaratskhelia gets tied up by 3 players. And down goes one of Arsenal's guys. Miles Lewis-Skelly also goes down too. Whistle blows. As those 2 players are in some discomfort. Havertz has 4 goals in 6 matches that he has played at. Inserted into the starting lineup and catches Safonov by surprise. You go high. You pick the sweet spot. And he made no mistake. What a perfect start for Arsenal. That was absolutely wild, just as Fabian gets up. He was a little banged up on the play, and now we will have a free kick from PSG. Fabian will get set up. A tangle up between Lewis Skelly and Kvaratskhelia. And Lewis Skelly gets shoved once by Vitinha. PSG was wondering where was the penalty against Arsenal on the other side. Does this Arsenal retake the possession? They rule it. It's going to be Arsenal ball. David Raya will kick this off. It was a bold choice to go with Havertz over Victor Gyökeres. And here's the counter-attack from PSG as they race up ahead. Arsenal defenders are racing back from the far side. This is Doué. Doué centers one. That's knocked away by Saliba. Doing a good job at maintaining that gap. Race for the ball won by Hakimi. And PSG will resell this down. 8.5 minutes into the first half. And Arsenal has the first goal. That is thanks to Kai Havertz. Mikel Arteta wanting to see his guys score more in situations that are not set pieces. This is one of those cases. Quickly catching his way up to Dembele was Saka. And Luis Enrique wants a foul against Saka for equipping his feet. As Dembele, he did get tripped up a bit. I don't know if there was all ball on that. But it's a nice shake-up as Nuno Mendes waits up. Down the left side, he'll move it up for Fabian. Fabian to Kvaratskhelia. He's dispossessed of the ball. PSG quickly recovers it, only for Arsenal to take this back. Moved up for the middle of Saliba. Gets knocked away by Mendes. Foul is called. PSG will stay with the ball as this was an Arsenal foul. And will take it down the right side. A double team on who I believe is Doué. He'll send this back. Volley further back to Pacho. And over to Mendes. Mendes and Kvaratskhelia. The best left back, left wing combo in all of European football. Doesn't really come close. This PSG attack can scare you in many ways more than one. But Arsenal, which conceded just 6 goals in the entire Champions League, facing their toughest test, having to defend the best offense in European football. Havertz 6 minutes in. That's the only goal as Kvaratskhelia will deliver back over to Vitinha. Now back at the far side for Doué. Doué waits and moves up. Goes towards the box. Too many bodies in the way. PSG keeps it alive. Falling away. This will roll behind the blue line. Or excuse me, the white line. A desperate punch to swat this one away as Arsenal's amazing defense comes through. This is a corner for PSG. They'll set up for the far side. All the way across the pitch. And that hits the side of the cage. Fabian Ruiz with the last great chance. We speak of impossible angles. That was even more possible than the Havertz one. 11.5 minutes in. And we know how much this means to both these clubs, especially Arsenal, who have been hungry for a championship. They've won their first Premier League title since 2004. They're looking for their first ever Champions League title. Through the far side as Arsenal sees this go away from them and Neves will retreat. Marquinhos waits and defers over to Pacho. Pacho takes his time with the ball. Or rather, that's Mendes. Sends this to the middle for Vitinha. Doué switches sides. He's now positioned at the near side as opposed to the far side. Typically lines up as a right wing. Now he's at the left wing. Doué trying to create. Springing up ahead. This is Fabian Ruiz. And that shot squeaked past David Raya. Just right in front of him. Didn't make its way to the goal. A poor choice of a shot selection from Fabian Ruiz. That didn't even make its way to the net. This will be a second straight goal kick for David Raya, and the frustration for Luis Enrique. It's here early. And PSG should have made this a habit to be frustrated by this Arsenal defense. The drums sound here at Puskas Arena as Fabian Ruiz goes back. Arsenal trying to steal with Bukayo Saka. They will, but a whistle is blown on William Saliba. Anything to get away from any scuffles here. No fighting, please. Not here. Vitinha waits. Some movement. We need to see some more creativity. PSG in the navy blue, Arsenal in the red. Those are the jersey colors. Arsenal has the white shoulders on their jerseys and white sweatpants. From the far side, PSG will set up. Arsenal's attack, forcing PSG to cut back. They're still taking a lot of time with this ball, looking to set things up. Safonov with a boot. Over the midfield where this bounces up and PSG will collect. Down goes one of the PSG guys. A foul against Arsenal. There's João Neves, who got tripped up. We're almost a third of the way through this first half, barring stoppage time, which we could be likely to get, as Neves was set up for Kvaratskhelia. Move back over to Vitinha. Vitinha holding on to it. Fabian Ruiz will head back over to Vitinha. He's taking his time with this. All the three midfielders are. From the far side, Doué. Neves sets up just outside the 18-foot box. PSG needing a lane. They'll get it from the far side on this volley. Now it's delivered back. Advancing further ahead. Pass back just outside the box. Swatted away by Arsenal. And it will be another corner kick as Hakimi was testing. Piero Hincapié with some excellent defense over the left side. Now he is going to set to box out the PSG guys here, setting up in front of David Raya. Good job by Saka to clear. Safonov will come out to play the ball. That's just how you defend the ball if you are Arsenal. Nuno Mendes, and there almost looks to be a collision here. Some fans are whistling here in disgust and protest about a missed call. Ruiz turns it over. Here comes Arsenal on the way back. This pass up ahead doesn't make it through. Safonov is well aware of that. It was Saka who put this one up. Martin Odegaard. It looked like there was a shot to the arm. On the way back, see if there was any intention there. PSG possessed the ball for 78% of the time. Arsenal for just 22%. But it's at the time in which Arsenal made it count, in which they struck. And it's Kai Havertz who scored the only goal. Oh. Mendes will move this back. As PSG is going to take their time. Mikel Arteta and to cement himself as a elite head coach and manager in European football. He won a Premier League title as Arsenal, his head coach and manager. Kvaratskhelia retreats back, and the first to Fabian. Fabian to Vitinha. And back to Kvaratskhelia. Far side for Doué. Ousmane Dembele goes back for Kvaratskhelia. And he took one too many strides on the ball. PSG steals. They'll get this back on the edge of the attacking third and the middle third. Waiting for a lane, it's Vitinha. He'll go back for Mendes. Their side is Doué. Luis Enrique has he and Kvaratskhelia switched up as Doué is double teamed. Saka got a foot on the ball to deflect that off. Saka in trouble. The first to Mosquera. Now back he goes to Rice, and it's Raya who sends this off. David Raya has been the best goalkeeper of this entire tournament as Neves send this back, and here's a deep kick. Arsenal on the retrieval. Saliba has a man on his face, that is Fabian. He'll retreat over to Raya, and Raya will send this to length. Waiting for it was Mendes to send this away from Saka. William Pacho will go back. Matvey Safonov will send this to his right for Marquinhos. Marquinhos up for Neves. João Neves. Being patient with this ball. As PSG, who normally is a high-flying offensive attack, and even though they possessed the ball for long stretches of this game, they just couldn't get anything past the defensive third. Ousmane Dembele. We'll be seeing him in the World Cup final soon enough as Achraf Hakimi. That ball went out. Whoa! Careful there, whoever threw that ball to Hincapié. Nearing the 20-minute mark of the first half, they're going to say it's Arsenal ball. Hincapié was not expecting that ball to be thrown to him, and now it's inbounded in. Bouncing up, and still up for grabs, and Arsenal's defense sends this away. PSG will have it. 20 minutes deep. And this is thrown back from Hakimi to Marquinhos to Mendes. Nuno Mendes to Kvaratskhelia. This time, the wingers are back to their traditional spots. Havertz at 6 minutes in, the only goal. Waiting is Dembele. Dembele, waiting some more. Taking his time with it. All lanes are closed. Marquinhos steps ahead. Doué. Desiree Doué. Now back for Marquinhos. Vitinha tried to spring Doué ahead. The pass doesn't connect. And Raya will send this off towards the far side as Arsenal turns this one around. They couldn't get anything past PSG's defense as William Pacho boxes him out. "21 minutes in, it's Kai Havertz from Leandro Trossard on the opening goal. This one's bouncing up. It'll be settled back down by Miles Lewis-Skelly, the teenager. Down the far side as Arsenal's looking to spring the counterattack. And it could do nothing much about that. Whoa! They're going to say PSG ball. I thought this was going to be Arsenal ball. Hincapié thought so. I thought so as well. The referees had different ideas. And João Neves brings us up ahead. It'll be set back all the way. Awaiting is David Raya. Raya with a boot. Past the midfield line as PSG sends this away. Arsenal will take their time, but so will PSG as they receive the ball. This is still up for grabs. Spring ahead is Dembele. Hosel this down. He has Kvaratskhelia to his left on this high volley. Kvaratskhelia waits at the near side. Has a man on him. No screen. Oh man, what defense by Arsenal. And they send this out of bounds off of Fabian. Christian Mosquera. Excellent defense to shut down both Kvaratskhelia and Fabian. So it turns out we're going to have a pause here from both of these clubs. And Mikel Arteta and company are going to have a water break. Both teams are going to have a water break because of the ongoing heat wave that's striking all of Europe. So right now the water break is underway. It's both teams are in the huddle right now. This heat wave has been historic. The climate change extending the heat season. Europe is basically an oven. It's obliterating temperature records all over the continent. The gravity of the situation was seen in an image captured by the European Space Agency's Copernicus Sentinel-3 satellite, used to monitor surface temperatures. The areas in red that were taken were areas well in excess of 30 degrees Celsius, and include major European cities like Madrid and Paris. And because of this heat wave, it's a mandatory water break for both PSG and Arsenal. Because of such. Now we're getting back to settling in here. You don't see this often about water breaks. But here we are because of the heat wave. Christian Mosquera to inbound it from the near side. We're approaching the 25-minute mark. The throw is batted up. Still up for grabs. Arsenal trying to send this away. They'll still have it. They'll have another inbound chance with Mosquera sending this in. Bukayo Saka. How will he fare in the English national team is the question. The same can be said of Declan Rice. Sent into Saliba and over to Gabriel. Gabriel comes in with speed. Roving in with some rhythm. Saka, down the near side, off the feed. And here's a crosser, stopped by Safonov. Hakimi reacted quickly and Safonov is in a boatload of pain. Martin Odegaard was setting up from the middle and Safonov, who has been excellent for PSG, he is hurt. Off the cross, this was set up for Leandro Trossard. And Safonov was diving for the ball. He got this out, poking this away from the cutting Trossard, and takes a heavy price. He is down and still not getting up. Ooh, he is a very courageous goalkeeper. And his ability to step up when need be has been remarkable. Lucas Chevalier is the backup. He was actually brought in last summer to replace Gianluigi Donnarumma. However, he lost the starting job to Safonov. Safonov have made 32 saves, allowed 12 goals, while Chevalier has 9 saves, but he's allowed more goals than made saves in the Champions League. So he's going to be tested here if Safonov can't go for the remainder of this game. Safonov turned away the approaching Leandro Trossard. There's the feeling that Safonov may have to exit out. And it does nullify any sort of tempo in this game. And PSG, Their style of game is about tempo, the quick pace. But all of that may go out the window with how Arsenal is playing. Safonov is getting some ice bags on the back of his head. But yet to see Luis Enrique's decision if he's going to keep Safonov on the pitch or if Chevalier is going to get out there. The medical trainers went on to the pitch to assist Safonov. Now Safonov is back up. He is telling the trainers he is fine. And he's putting some water on his hair and drinking it. That was out of his Gatorade bottle. And now here, this becomes even more crucial for PSG to capitalize on their chances as Safonov stays out there. PSG has refused to be denied of any chances throughout, and well, so is Arsenal. Safonov is staying put. The last time a game did not end in a clean slate in the Champions League Final, you have to go back to 2018 when Real Madrid beat Liverpool 3-1. That's the last time a Champions League Final was not decided by a clean slate. Kvaratskhelia up ahead for Mendes. Mendes delivers this one far side, and it's Doué. With some speed, Desiree Doué trying to tie the game up. This pass bounced out the box. Back over to Dembele. Dembele at the corner of the box, that is. Not the corner of the pitch, as Vitinha and Dembele exchange passes with one another. Dembele to the front, that's knocked away. It'll be settled down by Doué. Back for Vitinha. Oh, and now one of PSG's players is down at the 18-foot box in some pain. PSG can't stop the game here because they still have possession of the ball. And now they're still going with the ball. Down in some pain is the PSG player. They can't stop the play. That's Nuno Mendes, who is down and hurt. Joe Neves severing pass up front, and Neves goes down. Still PSG with the ball. Arsenal gets this all the way down the pitch. Oh my goodness. How long until we get a whistle? Mendes is in a heap of trouble. He's still down on the pitch. And finally, the referee stopped the play. David Raya comes in to assist on Mendes, who has been down for about a minute, just as he got beaten up by Gabriel. And just as Neves got tripped up when sliding dangerously close to Mendes. The question is if Mendes can go throughout or if he has to be subbed out. In the first Champions League final I covered, there was an injury that forced a substitution. With Kevin De Bruyne getting injured, he was replaced by Phil Foden. Let's see if Mendes can continue. He is still out there on the pitch, toughing this one out, but soon enough you'd think that he's going to be subbed out. Their side, as the pass is sprung ahead, David Raya comes out to play this and is directed away by Arsenal. PSG will get back on the attack as Mendes toughing his injury out. Vitinha plays catch with Kvaratskhelia. Now waits his turn. Delivers his back right side. Paris Saint-Germain tried to tie this game up at one apiece. Vitinha again. Over to Mendes. Mendes battling through all sorts of pain to Fabian. Mendes once more. Nuno Mendes to the right. Vitinha waits. Through the far side, this is Dembele. He is working on Hincapié. Centering pass was knocked away. It's out down by Doué. Back to Marquinhos. This pass goes. Up front is Vitinha. He'll wait. Over to Fabian. Fabian to the near side. Kvaratskhelia. Waits. It's Fabian again. His G4 all the way to the outside, which has been a recurring theme in this first half. Arsenal playing their old school football, which has worked. And the old school football has thrived for Arsenal. And they didn't need a set piece to make this work. Vitinha up the far side. Batted down at the right corner of the 18-foot box. Dembele waits, fakes a shot. Now volleys this one up. Nobody is home in the 18-foot box to receive. David Raya. With the hold of it. Oh, there's a bump. No foul is called. And through the far side, PSG is going back with this. Desiree Doué looking for a lane. He is double teamed. Arsenal's defense has done a good job at shutting that down. We'll have another corner. Third for PSG. And if you're for PSG, you have to take what's given to you. Though Arsenal's giving them no chances here. Close to zero as Mendes is going to wait. Balling this one up. Bouncing ball. And settled back outside the box. Well outside of it. Arsenal does a good job clearing this out. Whoa! What happened? Nuno Mendes is going to inbound it either way. But we're wondering what happened here. Joao Neves will wait. And he'll move this up into the middle. From the far side, PSG is going to stand it up. Doué. Across. Nothing. Arsenal gets it out onto the far side and we'll have another inbound. Doué waits. And from the far side, PSG will wait. Now they start to rush it with Hakimi. Decides there are no lanes towards the front and will retreat. Fabian. Towards the middle, Dembele. Tried to move it up front. That was perfectly cut away by Declan Rice. Rice. Going back and here comes the rush here. Bukayo Saka. To defenders back and Mendes bumps him. Just right after Mendes went down, it seemed like he was hurt. Mendes bumps into Bukayo Saka. Saka knew exactly what he wanted here. And has a free kick. Not enough weight on it. It's going to be another free kick for Arsenal. And not exactly a corner kick, but you'd wonder if the set pieces are going to come into play. Rice to send this off. From the right side. At the spot on which Saka was bumped. Who's going to be the one at the receiving end for Arsenal here on this set piece? It's up. And it's over the net. Pushing and shoving all sorts of chaos at the front. And in some discomfort was Fabian. He got shoved down and then inadvertently ran into, stomped, right? The stomach. Not what anyone wants when you have football cleats. Hincapié gets knocked away, and here's PSG free on free as they come back. A fourth man onto the Russian Nuno Mendes. Vitinha will deliver this right side for Doué. Doué shot blocked. Nice challenge there by Arsenal defense, and they clear this out. Gabriel with excellent defense as Neves matches up one-on-one on Odegaard. Doué recovers back in time. He gets tripped up, stays with the ball. What an effort there by Desiree Doué. And now he's tripped up himself. Or rather, that's a tackle. As the officials are going to rule it. The near side is Mosquera. You know how desperate both teams are to win the Champions League by any means necessary. William Saliba. Through two defenders, Mendes and Fabian. And now another episode of trouble as another tackle is made successfully. For the far side, it's Arsenal as they send this back. They'll away with this with Miles Lewis-Skelly. John Neves matches up to him. Arsenal is the only goal thanks to Kai Havertz. Mikel Arteta showing himself and his tactics. Just 45 passes completed for Arsenal. Over 220 for PSG. Despite both teams covering 42 meters. Gabriel has been outstanding on defense. For Arsenal, not only in domestic play, but also in the Champions League. PSG will send this near side for Kvaratskhelia. Now back it goes for Nuno Mendes. Arsenal has done a good job at containing these two, but also the rest of the PSG lineup. Vitinha to Fabian. For the far side, this is Achraf Hakimi. João Neves to Hakimi again. They play more catch. Now back for Vitinha. This is sent up forward. Further back for Marquinhos. Hacho. From just inside the middle third. PSG wanting to tie this game up. We have not seen a clean slate being broken in 8 years. In the Champions League Final, centering pass across for Kvaratskhelia on the other side of the box. Sent back over to Mendes. Mendes to the front is knocked away. Race for the ball. And Hakimi and... Oh, goodness! Havertz gets shot by Hakimi! A little too much there. Is there going to be a yellow card being assessed? He just got this ball back on the pitch as Hakimi put Havertz on a chokehold. There was no need for that. There was absolutely no need for that. None. Now PSG is going to take more time with 5 minutes left the first half. We're almost at short stoppage time because of the water break and the injury checkup to Safonov. Another point being made is that how effective is this attack going to be for PSG? They did grind some games out, such as when they beat out Bayern Munich in the second leg to win 6-5 on aggregate. Havertz at the 6-minute mark remains the only goal. Fabian trying to send this deep, but nothing there. Their side is Mendes. Moving this up with a pace to the attacking third. This bounces up and away. Now it's set up for Kvaratskhelia towards the other side. Rice had it out, but PSG keeps. And now goes one of the Arsenal guys getting back up. Though he slipped up on his own. Far side now. Sun is out here on some areas, but there's some shade here at the Puskás Arena in Budapest. Kvaratskhelia to the far side. It is Doué. Pass is blocked as Arsenal clears it out thanks to Nkapie. And it's deep enough in which PSG has to inbound it from the middle third. 3.5 minutes left in regular time before we get to stoppage time. How much stoppage time is going to be put? Arsenal is focusing on the far side. That's where the ball is at. Kvaratskhelia feeds Hakimi, and it's sent back for Neves. Pacho will wait. Over to Fabian. Fabian Ruiz steps into it and will deliver to Mendes at the left side. Nuno Mendes goes back. It is Fabian once more. Marquinhos. Hakimi once more. Captain to vice captain. Tic-tac-toe they go as Marquinhos. The first over to Vitinha. Vitinha waiting. Waiting is Kvaratskhelia now. Kvaratskhelia with some nifty moves. The first over to Fabian. Now it is Mendes. from the outside the box. He moves into the box. Mendes, across, bounces up, and it's set wide. Fabian. He had that chance. Just as Mendes was moving into the box to set up Fabian, a grade A chance. Nuno Mendes with a brilliant pass. The ball came to Fabian. This was an attempted clear. Frustration all around from PSG as Arsenal has been delivering on the defensive side. David Raya is going to send this up to the middle third where everybody is waiting. Now it goes on to the Arsenal attacking third where Marquinhos clears this out. PSG has had the ball for the majority of this match. Arsenal has been perfect defensively. Miles Lewis Skelly. He is young, but he's not new to the game. He's the 19-year-old from Denmark Hill. Arsenal sent this ahead. In pursuit of Saka, cleared away. Pacho delivers this one back, and PSG, who has possessed the ball for most of this match, they need to find something to crack this Arsenal defense. To the left side is Kvaratskhelia. Arsenal defenders coming back to wash him away. Kvaratskhelia gets forced to the outside. Over to Marquinhos. Over to Dembele. Dembele trying to find something. He could not. Lifted this one up high. And with 45 seconds left in the first half, there needs to be a pulse here for PSG. 1-0 Arsenal. Kai Havertz the only goal. And Mikel Arteta is happy with how this is going. With Arsenal playing defensive football, PSG wanting to focus on the offensive side. Raya sends it with the boot. Bouncing ball was held down by PSG. We're going to wonder how much stoppage time is going to be put here. Havertz at the 6-minute mark. The only goal as Arsenal comes back here. Only to be turned away. There will be 6 minutes of stoppage time because of the water break and the Safonov injury checkup. To be fair, it was quite warranted from the officials as Saka gets turned away by Mendes. The only quality offensive look that Arsenal got was a 2-on-1 in which they converted. Kai Havertz made no mistake. Settling down is Saliba over to Gabriel. Gabriel defers over to David Raya. But PSG trying to capitalize on a mistake. Safonov way out of the goal. He'll send this up ahead. And Arsenal will head back on defense as Neves takes his time with this. And if you're PSG, it's early to think about substitutions. But at what point do you think about getting a spark here? Maybe you put in Bradley Barcola? Who knows? Vitinha will head this to the right. Dembele waits. Over to Joao Neves and gets the return feed back. One too many Arsenal players there. And a good challenge from who I believe was Doy. But he was outmatched by Gabriel, who's been excellent on his own end. Kvaratskhelia goes back for Mendes. Now it's Vitinha. To the far side, Kvaratskhelia. Desiree Doué waits for a lane. There was none in front of him. There were 3 guys having all those lanes covered. Desiree Doué again. A very high shot that went absolutely nowhere. And Doué doesn't have the range to shoot from that distance. And Joao Neves is shut down by Hincapié right in front. And there are PSG fans who thought that should have been a foul. Arsenal has completely frustrated PSG. And with the type of defense Arsenal has been having, they're playing perfect football. Bukayo Saka down the near side. Havertz gets shut down. Here he is again. Havertz! Bounces up and is grabbed by Safonov. Oh man. That could have been dangerous for PSG in treading any sort of waters. Halfway through stoppage time, and Kai Havertz was proving Mikel Arteta correct. And the big gamble if inserting him into the lineup. All the possession that PSG has had, it's been for naught. Kvaratskhelia. PSG has knocked on the door several times, but Arsenal is not budging on them. It goes back over to Mendes. Vitinha. If how PSG is playing, they may need some substitutions. Advancing this up ahead is Doué. Was this deflected by Arsenal out behind the goal line is the question. They'll say yes, it's a corner for PSG. Oh, whistle blew before everybody could get set. So now, this will be taken by Fabian from the far corner. Denied by Saka, but is kept in by Mendes. With PSG not getting the looks they want. Their side is Fabian. Denied by Raya. He wanted to pass, but nothing came open. One minutes left in stoppage time after what has happened here between the water break and the Safonov injury checkup. Up the far side, PSG is forced all the way back at their own end. They've had nothing for Arsenal's defense, and the pass was too high for Kvaratskhelia. And PSG needs a mental reset because they've been getting overwhelmed by Arsenal's attack. It's Kai Havertz who got denied by Marquinhos at first. They're allowed to make life easier for Safonov. And sliding in to block the pass. Now Havertz is going to inbound, or he's actually going to defer it. He's forced to defer it to Mosquera because they cannot inbound it. The forwards cannot inbound it, but now it's Declan Rice to inbound it. A little slow down here. And PSG fans are obviously not happy at this whole switcheroo. And now here's the inbound. Set piece time, is it? Bounces up. And again and again. And it goes out of bounds. Arsenal will get a corner. This is their specialty. Corner kicks. Kai Havertz had this go off of him. Question is, did this actually go off of Havertz or one of PSG's defenders? The referee said that went off of PSG, that was. PSG wasn't convinced that it went off of them and said it was Havertz. Well, now the referee has said enough's enough. They have overturned the ruling that it was bounced off of Arsenal, and now the half is over. The referees have ruled this bounced off of Arsenal and not PSG. So no corner kick for Arsenal. And now we'll head to break. And when we come back, it's a halftime report with Arsenal up 1-0. I'm Alec Nava. We'll be right back. This is the halftime report. I am Alec Nava. Kai Havertz has the only goal between these two clubs. And that scored 6 minutes in to the first half. We had 6 minutes of stoppage time because of a water break and an injury checkup to Matvey Safonov, who was knocked out for a brief moment. He decided to stay in the play. Lucas Chevalier was warming up in the case Safonov couldn't go. Each team had one shot on goal. Shot attempts are 6-3 in favor of PSG. 4 fouls each. 4 corner kicks to 0 for PSG against Arsenal. The corner kick that was awarded to Arsenal was nullified because the whistle blew, and they ruled that the ball that went out of bounds went off of Arsenal and not PSG. So those are the first half stats. So now head over to some news around the footy world. Arne Slot is going to leave Liverpool with immediate effect. The Dutchman led the Reds to the Premier League title his first season at the club in 2025, but he wasn't able to replicate that success. His club finished 5th place in the Premier League. Liverpool's hierarchy continued to back Slot for a turbulent season, including during a period when his side lost 9 out of 12 games in all competitions. But sources were telling ESPN that the feeling inside Anfield was that the change was inevitable. Slot's brand of football was widely criticized for being too pedestrian this term, and sources were saying that the club was targeting a more attack-minded, aggressive style of play. The decision to sack him was reluctant. The Liverpool hierarchy was appreciative of the skill of achievement after placing Jurgen Klopp in the dugout in the summer of 2024. But sources were saying that a managerial change would give Liverpool the best chance of success moving forward. Among the candidates include the frontrunner Andoni Iraola, who will leave AFC Bournemouth following the expiration of his contract this summer, having guided to a 6th place finish in the Premier League. Last year saw Liverpool finish with just 60 points, the lowest total for a decade, 19 losses in all competitions. Slot's society was complicated by injuries to key players, such as Alexander Isak, and the aftermath of a difficult summer following the death of striker Diogo Jota last July. Joint statement from Liverpool's owner said that this was a difficult decision for us to make as a club, goes without saying. To start off. So he was appointed as Liverpool manager in May 2024, signing a 3-year contract after a successful start with Dutch side Feyenoord. So with that, Areola is the frontrunner to become the Liverpool boss. He's a free agent after leaving rivals AFC Bournemouth at the end of the season following the most successful league season that ended with the Cherries qualifying for the Europa League for the first time in its history. Liverpool is determined to assess potential candidates before landing on a favored option to replace Slot, who was fired. But despite the Liverpool hierarchy's plans to scour the market, sources said Areola is already the frontrunner due to a number of factors in the former Rayo Vallecano coach's favor. Liverpool's determination to play a more aggressive and high-energy style of football is being looked after. Areola's instant availability means he could start immediately at Anfield, but his long-standing relationship with Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes, who hired him when fulfilling a similar role at Bournemouth in 2023, is a significant factor in Areola being the top candidate in Liverpool. His €10 million a year salary he demanded at Bournemouth, which the club was unable to meet, will not be an issue at Liverpool, where Slot was on a similar pay deal. Chelsea is wanting €120 million for Enzo Fernandez amid a potential exit, renting a fee in the region, $161 million, that is, if Fernandez tries to force his way out the club this summer. He's believed to be considering his options after the Blues missed out on qualifying for Europe next season following a 10th place finish in the Premier League. Chelsea expects him to report for preseason training following the World Cup, but speculation is mounting that Fernandez could formally ask to leave the club. The Argentina international is contracted to Blues until 2032. They'll prefer not to lose such an influential player. Any interested clubs would be expected to surpass the €107 million total fee, which Chelsea paid Benfica for Fernandes in February 2023. Real Madrid are interested in him, but the asking price is an obstacle, and the club's transfer strategy is unclear given the presidential elections taking place. Manchester City is also thought to be tracking the situation. Chelsea is not under financial pressure to sell. Cashing in on Fernandes would help finance a rebuild under new manager Xabi Alonso. It's unclear at this stage whether Alonso and Fernandes have spoken. Alonso does not officially begin work at Stamford Bridge until July 1st, after agreeing on a 4-year contract. Fernandes hinted his unhappiness in an interview with ESPN Argentina following Chelsea's Champions League exit to PSG in March. He was dropped for 2 matches for suggesting during the international break later that month that "I like to live in Spain. I really like Madrid," fueling speculation over a move to Real Madrid. His agent Javier Pastore branded the decision completely unfair, adding that even though the player accepted club stance, quote, "we don't understand the punishment because he doesn't mention any club or say he wants to leave Chelsea." And for the World Cup, Tim Ream has been named captain of the U.S. men's national team. Mauricio Pochettino made the announcement at his news conference ahead of Sunday's pre-World Cup friendly against Senegal in Charlotte, North Carolina at Bank of America Stadium. Pochettino said he made the decision in conjunction with his staff, though it wasn't much of a surprise. Of the 23 games that the USMNT had played under Pochettino, Ream has been the team's captain 16 times. Ream is the team's oldest player at 38 years old, moved by the honor. Of course. He also gave a status update on Chris Richards, who has been attempting to come back from an ankle injury. Richards made the bench in Crystal Palace's 1-0 triumph in the UEFA Champions League Final against Rayo Vallecano. But Pochettino said that Richards would have traveled to Charlotte for the Senegal match and is going to remain at the National Training Center outside Atlanta to continue his rehab. When asking thought that Richards would recover in time to play in the World Cup opener on June 12th against Paraguay, Pochettino said it was too early. And the headliner for the Canadian national team is Alphonso Davies. Of course. However, he is hurt. It's too soon to tell whether he'll be ready for the opener because of a hamstring injury. He plays for Bayern Munich. He was injured earlier this month with a loss to PSG in the Champions League semifinals. He is Canada's captain and among the most prominent players named to the team, along with Juventus for Jonathan David, Southampton for Kyle Larin, and Villarreal midfielder Tajon Buchanan. Jesse Marsh named 9 defenders, 10 midfielders, 4 forwards, and 3 goalkeepers to their 26-player roster for the World Cup. And he included Davies on the 32-player training camp roster earlier this week, but he did not immediately join the team, instead remaining in Germany to continue his recovery. The team trained this past week in Charlotte ahead of a pair of preparation matches against Uzbekistan on Monday in Edmonton and against Ireland on June 5th in Montreal. They're co-hosting the World Cup with the United States and Mexico. They're in Group B along with Switzerland, Qatar, and Bosnia and Herzegovina, which eliminated Italy in the European playoffs. The Canadians will have all 3 of the group stage matches on home soil. They open against Bosnia and Herzegovina in June 12th in Toronto. This is their 3rd appearance in the World Cup, having been before in 1986 and 2022, but they have never advanced past the group stage. They finished at the bottom of this group in Qatar 4 years ago, but Davies scored the nation's first World Cup goal in a 4-1 loss to Croatia. Other players coming up injuries to the club include for Promise David, who just had hip surgery for a ruptured tendon in February, and defender Moise Bombito has not played for the national team since breaking his leg in a 2-2 draw with Monaco in October. Midfielder Jacob Schaffelberg also made the roster. He's also injured, a hamstring injury as well. March is not named starting between goalkeepers Maxime Crepeau and Dane St. Clair. Both will play in the upcoming friendlies before March makes a decision. And also, Barcelona is citing Anthony Gordon from Newcastle in a €70 million transfer on a 5-year deal. It's potentially rising to over €80 million with add-ons. Barca moved quickly to land him this week. Bayern Munich and Liverpool also expressed an interest in him. Barca and Newcastle reached an agreement over a fee. Gordon flying to the Catalan city on Thursday to complete a medical. Gordon impressed his first public appearance as a Barca player, which was held by over 8 hours due to paperwork issues, by responding to some of the questions in Spanish. He's been learning the language for a while because he's always imagined signing for Barca. He now heads off to the United States for the World Cup after being named in Thomas Tuchel's 26-player England squad. Gordon arrives at Barca as part of an attacking shakeup requested this summer by manager Hansi Flick. Primarily plays on the left, but can also play through the middle and boasts a front line already including Lamine Yamal and Rafinha. They're also on the market for a central striker after Robert Lewandowski announced he's going to leave the club upon the expiry of his contract in June. ESPN reported that after landing Gordon, Barca is now focusing on Julian Alvarez, who is valued at over 100 million euros. It remains to be seen what Gordon's signing means for another England international, Marcus Rashford. The players are coming back onto the pitch. As we say, Barca has an option to sign this summer for 30 million euros after he spent the season on loan at Spotify Camp Nou, scoring 14 goals and providing 14 assists. Sources say the addition of Gordon does not rule out bringing Rashford back, but Barca would like to negotiate the fee or on another loan with Manchester United. After spending time with Liverpool and Everton's academies, Gordon established himself in Everton's first team following a loan spell at Preston North End, joining Newcastle on a deal worth up to 50 million euros in 2023, and in just over 3 seasons with the club, has netted 39 goals in 152 appearances. Arsenal has been dominant here defensively all game long, and PSG has been shaking off their groove. Throughout this contest, nothing has gone right for them. Ball possession isn't saying much either, while you need to capitalize on their chances. And the second half is underway. Do remember, there is a water break in between because of the European heat wave. PSG in the navy blue, Arsenal in the red with the white shoulders and sweatpants. Kai Havertz the only goal, 6 minutes, it's deep. The last time we had a result that was not a clean slate was 2018. Real Madrid beat Liverpool 3-1. On the far side, Kvaratskhelia centering pass towards the front, gets knocked away by Gabriel. Bounces up off of Fabian. Fabian tried to box out his man, Hincapié, but Hincapié said no. The big question is, how can PSG get by? Through Arsenal's defense. Well, now we have a yellow card assessed. A yellow card has been assessed to Arsenal. Christian Mosquera has a yellow. He'll inbound this. A yellow card for disorderly conduct against the officials. A yellow card for unsportsmanlike conduct. Matvey Safonov plays this out to the right, but Marquinhos levels this up ahead. Intercepted by the Arsenal defense as they come back with William Saliba. He and Doué both go down. Whistle blows. Leandro Trossard has to step in to break up the two. As Saliba, he and Gabriel slow down the PSG attack. And guess what? Another free kick. This time Rice sends it to the near side. It is Trossard. Trossard goes back for Rice. Rice to the front. Knocked away. Settled down by Rice. And Trossard once more. Well, look. Goes back to the middle six. Everything's on the line here for PSG as this is volleyed out by Fabian. Arsenal goes back in with this ball. Here is Havertz, who has the only goal of this game. Havertz takes a bounce, as this is settled down again by Arsenal. All the way back to Rice in the middle third. Moving up. PSG knocks it away, but Arsenal swats the ball away. They'll force an inbound. Matvey Safonov taking his time with the ball. And we would wonder if we're going to see some more offense from PSG. They need to have that high-octane attack, but that brick wall that's Arsenal's defense has held up well. And they have helped out David Raya. Far side as they move it up. PSG attacking with speed. Going on 1-on-4 in the box is PSG. Center pass knocked away by Saliba. And a run in from behind. No whistle. The Arsenal fans are upset with that, but here's Doué. He'll take it back inside. Rice defending. Doué centering. But it goes well over the head of Dembele. Well, that didn't go as expected for PSG. It will be a goal kick for David Raya. Gabriel will set him up. All the way down the distance. This is bouncing up. It'll be kept away on a whistle. PSG scored very often here against Bayern Munich in the first leg, but they've been completely neutralized by Arsenal. Do remember, they have given up just 6 goals in the duration of this season's Champions League. It's going to be very difficult to get anything on them. Drop back onto the far side. And PSG wants to get some more chaos to go with the chaos that they generated. That's how they won last year against Inter. Dembele down the near side. Takes his time with the ball. Arsenal's forced them to play the waiting game. And PSG, even with possession of the ball, they have not taken an advantage of their chances. Safonov plays this out far side. PSG will wait some more. And Arsenal has under 100 passes completed, 84. PSG at 345. Foul here as Vitinha got knocked down. And we'd wonder about how much this is going to impact PSG, about how stout this Arsenal defense. We're seeing the answers unfold right now. 1-0 Arsenal. As PSG is forced all the way back at their own defensive end. There's just no room to operate. Dembele's pass is knocked away, but PSG will get it back. A little interception by Leandro Trossard. Going to get Joao Neves to inbound. Just a soft one over to Fabian. We have another whistle. Well, it worked as there was so much time to get that ball away. However, the officials thought that it should be the left and right backs inbounding. At least I thought that was going to be the thought process there. PSG back with this ball. Once again, how many times have we said this? For PSG to have possession of the ball only to be turned away by Arsenal every time. Not a lot of clean looks at the net. As Vitinha advances up ahead. The pass wide to Doué. Gabriel back to receive. And Raya, the long boot. Oh, a bump from Trossard. That was on Neves. This is an advance up the far side. As Kavica Kvaratskhelia goes around. And he could not get by through Mosquera and Saka. That right side has been outstanding. Again and again for Arsenal. Dembele centers up onto the box. No look for Neves, centering pass. Nothing. But PSG quick on it. Doué on the recovery. Not for long though. As Doué is down, he's grabbing his shin. And a yellow was assessed on Bukayo Saka. A bad foul, which Doué was grabbing his shin. You'd wonder at what point it's enough. Both Doué and Saka fighting for the loose ball. As Desiree Doué. The impact on the shin is what made the foul the criteria for a yellow card. And Mikel Arteta, not happy. Second yellow card against Arsenal. And this will set up for a free kick from PSG. A bad foul on Saka. That hurts Doué. And we'll see who is going to send this one off. Arsenal has been good on set pieces. Hakimi, Mendes, and Vitinha. The three players right around the area of the ball. You know about how Mendes is playing through injury? There's a 4-1 back. That's Marquinhos. Now it's Hakimi. Long shot. Save Raya. A well-placed shot by Hakimi. As he was looking to tie the game up, but Raya stood strong. On the tackle was PSG on Kai Havertz. Mendes moves it up far side for Kvaratskhelia. On the wing side, Kvaratskhelia surveys and delivers it up front. From the far end, as PSG is looking for a centering option. Delivered back over to Kvaratskhelia. Fended over to Marquinhos. Sent up the near side. Mendes. Once again back over to Achraf Hakimi. Neves. Hakimi, who had the second shot on goal for PSG. Positioned over the right side as PSG. They need to diagnose the passing lanes. Not a lot here, but there was an narrow one to Mendes. But Arsenal does a good job at recovering. This is swatted out of bounds off a foot. Fabian Ruiz tried to center. And now PSG is going to reset. All the way back at the middle third. Back over to the far end. As PSG looking for an answer. So far they have none. Back at a tight angle as PSG tried to center. Nothing there, and Arsenal will look to clear it out. Whoa! Out goes one of PSG's guys. Or excuse me, that's Arsenal's guys. But Arsenal does a good job of intercepting it and recovering it. Raya clears. Race for the ball. Havertz up ahead, away for the play, and he puts Pacho on a chokehold. Oh boy. And Pacho is brought down hard. Not a good foul. He bumped him and swatted him down. Of course, that's going to be a foul. Of course, it's going to be a foul. Ooh, boy. Near side now, Hakimi waits up and delivers back for Fabian. Nothing has come easy for PSG in this contest. Hakimi again, with PSG waiting. Achraf Hakimi Settles back over to Fabian. As they take their time. Doué. Thought this was going to Fabian again. But PSG has nothing. And you wonder how elite this defense is. The results speak for themselves. And another foul. Bukayo Saka in the middle of it. He already has a yellow card. He blocked off the path on Nuno Mendes. And it's going to be a free kick. That was so close to being a penalty kick. Instead, they're going to rule the foul on Mendes. And Raya is going to send this off, which he will. Kai Havertz, the only goal, 6 minutes in. And the results since 2018 have been clean slates. 2-0 Liverpool over Tottenham Hotspur. 1-0 Bayern Munich over PSG. 1-0 Chelsea over Manchester City. 1-0 Real Madrid over Liverpool. 1-0 Manchester City over Inter Milan. 2-0 Real Madrid over Borussia Dortmund. And 5-0 PSG over Inter Milan last year. PSG needs to have something to energize their crowd. Because so far, it's been the Arsenal lockdown show. And another tackle. Arsenal is all over picking up this ball defensively. And a foul. Saka. He is protesting the call. The referees have ruled this against him. As he shoves away João Neves. When you play defense, of course, when you commit legal tackles, that's okay. But hard shoves, those are fouls. PSG so far, just nothing. Moved up ahead, here's Doué. Here's Doué as he centers one up. This bounces away from the box. What looked like a 2-on-1 was a good defensive recovery with a second defender getting back. Now here comes PSG on the return. Up the far side, Kvaratskhelia. This bounces up and out. Gabriel. Again and again. Being stellar defensively. It's going to be a quarter for PSG. Oh, there's some blood on Kvaratskelia's knee as Raya knocks away this quarter. Hakimi headers this back over to Marquinhos. Excuse me, that's Vitinha. Desiree Doué. Up the left side, Kvaratskhelia. Getting locked down, and Kvaratskhelia. He got tripped up. Penalty kick. Chance for PSG to tie it. No! PSG wants a penalty kick. It was a reaching challenge. And Kvaratskhelia already has blood on his leg. And we're waiting to see what the official ruling here is. They're all looking at the monitors, including the head manager, Luis Enrique. See, Kvaratskhelia immediately felt that he was in trouble. It is a clear penalty on Mosquera inside the box. Clipped him from behind. It's a clear penalty. The question marks are over, and PSG is going to have a penalty kick. The VAR is checking the penalty, and both teams are arguing with one another. Luis Enrique wants a penalty kick. Kvaratskhelia knew that he was in trouble. It was initially grabbed first outside the penalty area as the medical staff is putting bandages on Kvaratskhelia. So it started outside, but then he gets brought down inside. It is a PSG penalty. It is confirmed. PSG will have a penalty kick. And it's just a question on who they're going to send out to take the penalty kick. Chance to tie this game up. So PSG has made their selection on who is going to take this penalty kick. Kvaratskhelia was the one drawing the penalty as he was hauled down inside the 18-foot box. And at the 65-minute mark, we'll see if PSG can score just the 7th goal overall against David Raya. The referees are going to get set. Does Raya. Ousmane Dembele. He scores! Ousmane Dembele, who didn't score last year in the Champions League Final, knots it up at 1 with Kvaratskhelia setting up the penalty kick. All bloodied and all. Dembele capitalizes, knots it up, and for the first time in 8 years, we will not have a clean slate in the Champions League Final. Puts his body up and picks his spot. Fakes like he was going to go right. Instead goes left. And the champions have made their statement. We're still here. And we're still going to stand until our last breath. Havertz started at the 6-minute mark. Dembele answered it at the 65-minute mark. And now Arsenal is going to make their first substitutions. Out goes Christian Mosquera. In comes Jurrien Timber, the Dutch national. And we have another substitution for Arsenal as well. Out goes Martin Odegaard. In comes Victor Gyökeres. 1-1, we are tied. And the smoke is here in the building at the Puskás Arena in Budapest. Now we have ourselves a game. What else is new? We're 66-30 in, and we're getting closer to the mandatory water break. If we're tied, after 90 minutes, we're going to extra time. And if we're tied for another 30 minutes, we'll get into a penalty shootout. Foul here. There's no second yellow card. And to remember, Bukayo Saka's playing on a yellow card. If he gets a second yellow, he's out, and he cannot be replaced in the lineup. A good decision to not give him a second yellow. Their side is PSG. Can't get this one away. Arsenal try to break even once more. They get ahead. But they moved this out. Another whistle. There was no word on that. I have to say about, in terms of it, this is enough. There's no water break here. But we're getting closer to one if we haven't reached it already. Do remember about the heat wave. We had one in the first half. And from the far side, it's to be moved up and around by PSG. Could this be the time in which their high-octane attack turns it on? Hakimi draws a corner. Hincapié had it bounced off him and he went past the goal line. Hakimi tried to center it. As Dembele, who scored, to set up at the front. Who's going to take it? Everybody set up at the 6-foot box. Dembele sets it up. Desiree Doué will wait. Doué double team. Still watching. As he's going one-on-one from the outside to right. Hakimi to Dembele. Dembele's cross pass. Didn't go through and just went out. There'll be another break here. It's a water break. As Dembele had the last goal. Everybody celebrating. And of course, PSG not straying away from their approach. The water break. Dembele has 8 goals in 13 matches. And there are many different questions for Arsenal, considering their defensive structure. Of course, both teams have the opportunity to stabilize their game. Oh, and somewhere in this crowd is Tony Parker and Travis Scott. They both made guest appearances on the Champions League pregame show with Kate Scott and company. And among that staff included Thierry Henry, Micah Richards, Jaime Carragher. 1-1 were tied. Kai Havertz, Ousmane Dembele. Those are our goal scorers here. Havertz at 6 minutes. Dembele at 65 minutes. Coming back for the water break. And keep in mind about the European heat wave. So that's going to lead to extended stoppage time here in the second half. It's 1-1 here for 71 minutes of action. Of course, we don't have an injury to keep track of because Matvey Safonov was banged up in the first half. He's alright, he's playing through the injury. Ball bounces up through center. Here is Trossard. Trossard could not get by. And it's cleared out onto the far side. PSG just keeps it. No, it's played out. Doué thought it was kept in. Now Trossard's looking tired. Arsenal has used up their first 2 substitutions on Timber and Julian Timber and Victor Gyökeres. Now PSG can capitalize here on a turnover. Here's Dembele from the near side. Dembele in the box. Floats this wide. Well, here's a goal kick. Right off the turnover with Dembele setting up through the near side. A lazy pass from Arsenal generated this chance. And Dembele, who wanted to cross over Gabriel. Gabriel forced him to the outside. Best offense versus best defense. It's a contrast of play styles here. 9 total attempts, 3 on target for PSG. 3 total attempts, 1 on target for Arsenal. And a lone shot on target was the Kai Havertz goal. Now PSG will take their time of it. Long shot! Oh, baby. That tested David Raya. And Vitinho is trying to do something with a long shot from way outside the 18-foot box. He had the distance. Now Arsenal. The question is, how tired are they? Instead of a goal kick, this is a long pick from Hincapié. And now here's Kai Havertz trying to break free. PSG will have all sorts of stout defense, and it made life easier for Safonov. And a wasted opportunity for Kai Havertz and company for Arsenal to make this a 2-1 game. Near side, it is Achraf Hakimi, one of the vice captains of this club. Desiree Doué. Near side. We'll go back. And we'll settle it for Vitinha. And for Arsenal, with how good they've been, this is a club that's even better than the Invincible squad. From the far side is Fabian Ottafin from Kvaratskhelia. Willian Pacho to Marquinhos. Hakimi back for Marquinhos as PSG is playing the waiting game again. Now PSG has the fresher legs and the renounced set of energy. Now that they have broken and now they have tied the game, they feel confident. They feel ready to strike. But Arsenal's going to change that. As they're slowing the play down, here is Trossard. Right around Neves. Trossard continues to wait. Lewis Skelly. Back over to Trossard. At the center of the pitch. He gets tripped. Doué trips him up. And Arsenal will keep it. Declan Rice. One of the many faces of this Arsenal club. He and Bukayo Saka. Both on the English national team. Kai Havertz has been excellent. And keep an eye on Victor Gyökeres. There are two strikers out on the pitch for Arsenal in Havertz and Gyökeres. Mikel Arteta wants to get those two guys out there as David Raya from the center of the pitch sends this out before he retreats back to his goal. The life of a goalkeeper is very lonely. You celebrate alone when your team scores a goal. Settle back all the way for Raya. David Raya. All the way down to the attacking third. But this is swatted away by PSG. Arsenal will inbound. Leandro Trossard sends this in just to the outside the 18-foot box, and he'll get it back. Trossard with the cross. The crossover, that is. Not the cross. Now Trossard sends this into the box. He'll get it back as this was headed away. Trossard. Hincapié. The cross all the way. And this is Jurrien Timber. One of the two substitutions. The other being Victor Gyökeres. Saka on Mendes. Havertz the screen. No switch. As Mendes stood with Saka the entire way. Volleyed ahead. Knocked away by Pacho. Arsenal manages to keep. Rice sends it ahead. Saka enters again. Gets double teamed. And PSG trapped Arsenal that time. And here comes a rush chance for PSG to make it a 2-1 for them. For the first lead of their game. To the box. Save Raya. Oh, man. That looked to be Kvaratskhelia moment. And he had a lot of touch on it. Gets the pass ahead. Volleys it to himself away from the Arsenal defender. And William Saliba was late to get back. Oh, that was off the post. PSG got another quarter out of it. Mendes. I think Arsenal may have gotten a hand on it, and it hit the post. Jurrien Timber headed this one out. Yet another corner for PSG. Miles Lewis Skelly is right in front of David Raya as all sorts of PSG attackers are setting up at the front to receive any header. Ousmane Dembele, nothing. This went wide of everybody. A poorly executed corner kick. And Nikola Jokic is here at Budapest rooting for Arsenal. Arsenal wants to keep this a dead ball for as long as they can. Marquinhos sends it to the head, but it's Arsenal on the takeaway. Towards the far side, Saka. Well, look at the box. Saka tried the entry. Two defenders on him, and it's cleared. Arsenal gets it away. Havertz, 6 minutes in. Dembele, 65 minutes in on the penalty kick. Now here's PSG on the counter down the far side. Free kick. And that's going to go to Arsenal. Trying to figure this out as Desiree Doué had it but lost it. And he bumped Miles Lewis Skelly. And getting back this ball on the rush. Midfield was his original position. But he came into the team making impacts as a left back. Now he's back his original position as a midfielder. Ball in the box on PSG's end. They clear it. Now they'll have it again. Still waiting for any lanes to be open. Arsenal closing this off. Lifted all the way across for Hakimi. PSG keeping their original starting 11 out of the pitch. 80 minutes into this game. Arsenal has made 2 substitutions out of 5. In the last 15 minutes, PSG has 4 shot attempts. One of them has been on target. We're 80 minutes deep. It's Kai Havertz the goal for Arsenal. Ousmane Dembele the goal for PSG. Victor Gyökeres, the Swedish national, on the pitch is one of the 2 substitutions for Arsenal. Hakimi will wait as it's delivered back over to Fabian. Let's see who gets whose attention here in the final 10 minutes of regular time before we head into the stoppage time. Fans on their feet as it's moved up ahead through the far side. Kvaratskhelia to the box again. Kvaratskhelia is boxed out by 3 defenders. And here's Arsenal through the far side with Miles Lewis Skelly. Had it knocked away from him, and PSG comes back with the ball. Through the far side with Saliba matching up. Saliba forces this away. Another corner. Arsenal has shut out PSG over these last few minutes. Denied him any chances, and more substitutions. Gabriel Martinelli will sub in. Soon enough. Discipline is important. And Miles Lewis Skelly gets knocked down, up and over. Soon enough, we're going to see the substitutions. One of them coming in is Martinelli. Marquinhos shoved down Lewis Skelly. At what point is Martinelli going to come in? He's next in line for the substitutions. Here's the corner from Dembele. It's headed up high. And now, Mikel Arteta is going to get his guys onto the pitch. Gabriel Martinelli will replace Leandro Trossard. He's had a big impact in the Champions League. Nani Madueke replaces Bukayo Saka. Saka and Trossard are out. Madueke and Martinelli are in. So it's 2 out, 2 in. Arsenal has used up 4 substitution slots. And one last substitution here. That's going to be on PSG side. Kvaratskhelia out. Bradley Barcola in. So this is what we're saying about the litany of depth that PSG has on the forward side. Kvaratskhelia subs out, and Barcola, who's been excellent in domestic club play, he steps onto the pitch for the first time. Immediately, Arsenal going to work. They get forced onto the outside, down the left side. This is Gyökeres, who sends this back over to Hincapié. Hincapié gets it back. Advance further ahead. Gyökeres. Hincapié centers this up. Nice feed for Gyökeres. That is forced all the way out by PSG. Not wanting to see a corner kick from Arsenal. It'll be inbounded by Arsenal. Question is, how many more substitutions are we going to see from PSG? This will be inbounded by Rice. As Kai Havertz will look to break the tie. The big body Gyökeres, who has been so crucial in late game situations. Does he strike here? Bouncing up, loose, cleared by PSG. Settled down by Arsenal. And slipping up was one of them. And this is sprung ahead down the far side. On a race, this is Desiree Doué. Doué! Shut down by Raya. And he'll throw this like a bowling ball to the far side. PSG on the quick recovery. Desiree Doué came close. Here they come again. And once more, this ferocious attack, striking with precision. Marquinhos on the takeaway. PSG sends this one back. Vitinha denied on the pass. And Safonov will grab a hold of it and deliver this to the left. 5 minutes left in regular time. How much longer will we have for someone to score a go-ahead goal here in regular time? Whether it be in this period or in stoppage time. Here in the second half. We did have a water break. That's going to count for how much stoppage time is going to be put in here in the wake of the European heat wave that's been happening this late in the spring, entering the summer. It feels like summer over or in Europe. Havertz 6 minutes, Dembele 65 minutes on a penalty kick. That's your score here. With 4 minutes and 15 seconds left. And it's the second half regular time. Marquinhos. To the near side for Hakimi. Hakimi. Crosses over one man. Knocked out. Corner. Gabriel Martinelli has some involvement in that. Full sprint ahead for Bradley Barcola, not Desiree Doué. Dembele sets it up. Nobody home. Missed this man, but it's kept in by PSG, only to be denied by Arsenal. All on missed pass. Here comes Arsenal on the way back from the far side as they wait patiently. Sprung up ahead, Safonov with a hold of it as that pass missed Gyökeres. That was Arsenal's breakout that they could have capitalized at with the substitutions, including Madeke and Gyökeres. From the middle third, PSG settles this down. And once again, the waiting game is being played. Arsenal want to spring up ahead on a rush chance. From the far side, it's PSG. You can sense the flair for the dramatic coming soon. The question is, who is it going to be? Desiree Doué just keeps this ball in play. Hakimi has a lane, centers it. Joao Neves gets tied up. Fabian sends this back. Hakimi denied. The ball went off him, and it'll be a goal kick for David Raya. Declan Rice's foot was on the pitch. A good chance for Arsenal to break even, but excellent defense by PSG for how good that PSG's offensive attack is. Their defense is so underappreciated. 2 minutes left. This will be settled down by Arsenal. Marquinhos gets this one through and out. And this will be inbounded by Arsenal. It will be their ball. Near side to get sent up. This is Martinelli. Martinelli sends this back over to Hincapié. Gabriel. Gabriel waits. And he'll head back over to Raya. David Raya. Another deep kick. Goalkeepers are known to have boots. This will be controlled by PSG on a deep pass. Settled down by Doué. He has space. He has time. Desiree Doué gets denied. Long shot. Denied. Raya may have gotten a piece, but we remain deadlocked. And he needs some attention here on his left ankle. A good setup by Desiree Doué. That could have broke the floodgates open as Doué was being denied. And Vitinha, who had the leg to make a deep shot, tried his luck. It didn't reach Raya. But just at the top of the net. Over the crossbar. Medical attention being brought to David Raya. We'll get the number of minutes on stoppage time when we get the attention to. He is a warrior, David Raya is. So see how much time is put. 6 minutes, just like in the first half. Still, the medical staff is checking in on Raya in the wake as they're a mix of PSG fans and Arsenal fans here in attendance. PSG fans on one side, Arsenal fans on the other side. Team huddle in the midst of the injury checkup to Raya. So just like in the first half, it's an injury checkup. This time to Raya. And there's Jokic. Jokic is watching along. Hear this crowd? Supporting Arsenal. 5 minutes left. And here's Gabriel sending this down the distance. But an injury checkup lasted until close to 1.5 minutes gone here in stoppage time. Fabian goes down as Arsenal had to set up ahead from Rice. But not much can be delivered out of that. Rice swept that away. He's been incredible. He's a crucial reason for Arsenal's success. It's Ousmane Dembele. Way to capitalize some more chances for PSG. Arsenal going to get the go-ahead goal. Dembele is feeling something on his hamstring. Maybe he's cramping. The heat wave here is no joke in Europe. Keep that in mind as Gyökeres. Another tackle, another foul. João Neves gets brought down. Everything can go on for so long, you know. It can only go on for so long before a dramatic goal ensues. Both teams are feeling each other out. And remember, both teams will earn an extra substitution when extra time arrives. Gonzalo Ramos is ready in the case his number is called. Achraf Hakimi waits near side and delivers this back over to Doué. Doué to Fabian. Fabian to Marquinhos. As all sorts of PSG players are waiting around, looking for lanes. Fabian patiently ahead for Doué. Doué trying to get around this Arsenal defense. Centering pass gets knocked away. Right back to him. The cross. Nothing much on that as Barcola sends it backwards to avoid the onslaught of Arsenal defenders. From the near side is Fabian who drops it. Now back onto Hakimi. Near the PSG bench. Hakimi. He and Neves are waiting around. Ramos still waiting for his turn to come onto the pitch. Vitinha to the far side for Barcola. Barcola. Doué comes back around cycling. Marquinhos. Long pass up ahead for Hakimi. Hakimi delivers behind. Backing up and around is Neves. In less than 2 minutes to attack this Arsenal defense. Arsenal's not giving them any space. They're not giving them any breathing room to maneuver. 1.5 minutes left. Hakimi from the outside the box. And Fabian will send this back to Hakimi. Marquinhos to Vitinha. Does PSG have the combo to make this work? Fabian waits. Fabian, the cross that was blocked in front. And Arsenal will take this one out. A lot of possession resulted in a lot of nothing. Free kick. João Neves gets a yellow. He tripped up one of Arsenal's players. João Neves trips up Gonzalo Ramos. Dembele out. Ramos in. So Neves trips up Kai Havertz, excuse me. So Ramos subs in the place of Dembele. So we have 30 seconds left in the second half. David Raya trying for one last gasp for Arsenal. This is it for regular time. If there's going to be a dramatic final goal here to break the tie, Raya sends this deep. Everybody in the box settle down. Bounces up. Arsenal sells this down. Here's Gabriel. Martinelli. Martinelli with the cross. This is header up. Cleared. Settled down by Arsenal yet again. On the far side, Saliba. 5 of the red shirts are in the box, setting up for a goal. Sent back in. PSG clears again. And Doué brings this back on the rush. Could this be it? Bradley Barcola to the box. Barcola! Oh, man, he stopped. Every foot. Every area. Well accounted for. Bradley Barcola came close. David Raya wasn't tested as that shot went wide. And now we're going to extra time. The penalty that was awarded has this Champions League final going to extra time. In just a few minutes, we'll have to start. 15 minutes each. Will we have an answer? After 90 minutes of action, we have no solution. But 6 minutes of stoppage times between the first and second halves. We'll have 2 halves of extra time, both 15 minutes each. And if there's no go-ahead goal here, we'll head into the penalty shootout. Ousmane Dembele tied it up at 1 after a penalty drawn by Ivica Kvaratskhelia in the box. Achraf Hakimi is getting checked on. In the meantime, as everybody is getting set here for extra time. The change came in the second half when the penalty from Christian Mosquera on Ivica Kvaratskhelia. It was upheld after a VAR review, and Dembele faked out David Raya the entire way. More substitutions here as Kai Havertz and Miles Lewis-Skelly exit out, and Eberechi Eze and Martin Zubimendi come in for Arsenal. They have used up their final 2 substitution slots. PSG is rolling with a bunch of the same lineup. Kvaratskhelia out, however. Barcola is in his place. Marquinhos and Rice shaking hands. It's Martin Odegaard. He's no longer on the pitch for Arsenal. Gabriel and William Saliba have been excellent as a center-back duo for the Gunners. But how do the Parisians fare here at extra time? Everybody on their feet here as we get set for extra time here at Budapest at the Puskás Arena. And we're here, underway. 15 minutes each. Kai Havertz, 6 minutes in. Ousmane Dembele, 65 minutes in. On a penalty kick. Now PSG moves up quickly. Tripped up from behind. Do you remember Gonzalo Ramos replaced Dembele? By the end of the second half, as Dembele was cramping. Do keep into account about the European heat wave that's been impacting across the continent. Back onto the near side as Mendes moves towards the right. Deep pass to the far side as waiting for it is Barcola. Barcola waits some more. And he'll be sent back further. The lone man from the forward side left among the original starting lineup is Desiree Doué. It has moved up down to the near side. Barcola gets this back. Almost struck to the ball. Now Arsenal will get it back. Jurrien Timber. Declan Rice. Finding a way through a tight space. Now to the near side. Is Madeke. Madeke has some support. Centering pass was knocked away by Pacho, and Arsenal is going to be set up at what they do best. A centering pass from Madeke, and that was intended for Gyökeres, who has been outstanding coming off the bench. PSG's defense will have to be ready. Madeke will take the corner kick. Who's going to set up in front? We're 2 minutes into extra time here at the Puskás Arena. Well, now, and Madeke will send this away. On the way, it's headed out. Will this be another corner? It was a substitute, Ramos, who is in the way. Yes, it will be another corner. Make it 2 straight from the near side. Safonov has to be ready. PSG's defense has to be ready. PSG's fans are whistling this corner kick attack from Arsenal. They know they don't like it. Matvey to set it off again. Up ahead, hits aside the cage. This time it was unsuccessful, and now Safonov will send this a distance. David Raya has been excellent. And one can make the case that he's been easily the best goalkeeper of the entire Champions League. So now what will PSG do on the other end? We're in extra time, tied at 1. There have been some excellent football matches, including the first leg of PSG versus Bayern. Dembele has been excellent. Timber sends this in. As Arsenal is taking their time with this ball, Raya moves this up through center. Pacho sends this away. As PSG will clear this all the way to Arsenal's own end. Raya will try again as Saliba fed it back to him. It's to be settled down by Matvey once again. Matvey moves towards center, fends this back, and Julian Timber's upset. He thought that this is going to be against PSG, in which it was going to be getting a chance to score. He thought he was going to shake off his defender, but he bumped João Neves. Oh yeah, he hand-checked him in the face. Fabian Ruiz subs out. Warren Zaire-Emery heads in. Fabian has been crucial in PSG's run. We're 1/3 away here through extra time, half number 1. And when you think everything's going to go through every sort, just wait for this next part. PSG has played exceptionally well offensively in this tournament. Arsenal has played exceptionally well defensively. These two styles clash with one another. David Raya sends this down the distance to the far side as this went wide. PSG will inbound it. Achraf Hakimi to send this in, the Moroccan national. He finds his man as they'll take their time with the ball. Arsenal waiting if they see a mistake from PSG. There's none. And up the near side, Barcola has to rush back to get the ball away from Timber, as Timber was running with speed. Now Arsenal on the takeaway, thanks to Rice. Centering pass up front, Matvey, or rather Izzy. Mendes getting us away from Timber on for Zaire-Emery. Warren Zaire-Emery from the corner. Gets this one just partially away. Timber on the keep. Rice, Timber. Timber centers up to the box. Cannot be corralled by Gyökeres. And Gyökeres body checked this man. João Neves has been putting himself onto a grueling match. Vitinha behind. Up front, it bounces up away from Ramos. Arsenal doing a good job playing keep away. Raya on the send through. 16 total attempts for PSG, 3 on target. Arsenal with 4 total attempts, 1 on target. Now here is Arsenal moving up. Safonov has not yet recorded a save in this game, as Arsenal has not generated a lot of chances. Here's a turnover. Back the other way comes Ramos. Ramos gets shoved out. And a yellow is assessed. It's assessed to the Swedish Gyökeres. That's his first. PSG 1, Arsenal 1. And this was on the takeaway with Gyökeres rushing back to defend. And Gonzalo Ramos basically gets slapped at the shoulder. And a free kick is awarded. Vitinha has a boot. He can blast it. Takes his time with this. So 8:30 into extra time. Saliba, Gabriel. Of course, there will be the first two defenders down the middle. Vitinha will take it. This bounces up off Saliba. Pacho tried to center. Exits out. This will be an inbound. That went off Zubimendi. And Dembele's wondering, what just happened? Nevesu inbound. He'll defer to Mendes. Sent all the way back over to Zaire Emery. Taking care of his Marquinhos. Up for Zaire Emery. Their side. Back to the middle of the pitch is Vitinha. From midfield, PSG once again waiting for some passing lanes to develop. Mendes waits and delivers. Vitinha. Of course, we know he can blast it. He decided to do a pass to the box that time, but nothing materialized. Vitinha waits. Sends to the right. Hakimi. Gonzalo Ramos. Up front for Hakimi. Hakimi moves to the middle. Hakimi. He tried it from deep. Didn't make it to the net. 100 minutes have gone here. And remember, Hakimi scored the opening goal of the Champions League Final last year at Munich. Well, lucky fan's going to take this home. The stadium has gone a little quiet. As Kavica Kvaratskhelia is also watching with Joel Fernandez. Fernandez from Nigra, España, representing Spain, just 23 years old, came over from Barcelona. PSG gets this one out, getting this one away, and Jurrien Timber's going to inbound. 4 minutes left in the first half of extra time. Timber take his time with this. Question is anyone going to score here? Iberici Eze on the way back for Gabriel. Havertz has Arsenal's only goal. Dembele, PSG's only goal. They have since subbed out. Nice defense by Nuno Mendes. And Declan Rice wants a foul. So does Medeke. None is called. The referees are letting this one play on. Declan Rice is livid. He thinks there should be a penalty kick for Arsenal. And Arsenal fans are booing here. Some are whistling here over the bad call by the officials. Zaire Emery. Back over to Vitinha. He'll let this one go. Marquinhos sends this one over to the far side. But that was bad. A missed penalty kick on Arsenal. Oh my goodness. Through the far side, this gets knocked away, but PSG keeps. They win the ball back. So the booing continues. In protest of the call, Vitinha has it knocked away, and the Arsenal fans cheer that. And the entire Arsenal 11-man unit on the pitch and the entire bench livid at the missed penalty. Now a yellow is assessed to Declan Rice. His continued protests have transpired onto a yellow card, and another yellow is assessed to Mikel Arteta that time. The protest from Rice and manager Arteta have led to yellows on both the star player and the manager. So you look back, as that was a bad missed call. Yes, and Mendes had a hold of Madeke. Arteta's livid. Everybody on Arsenal is furious. They think there should have been a penalty there, and I don't blame them for protesting that. And the referee on the field, I don't know if the VAR would have gone against that ruling for the referees. The initial contact, the referees, the question is if they were in a bad position for that to not be called, but you have to call that. You have to call that if you're the officials. Arsenal has no substitutions left. They're wondering if they need to make a change in terms of personnel. PSG, that is. And the fans continue to boo in protest of that missed penalty call. One can argue about what Arsenal, that penalty could have turned the tide. That missed call changes everything here. 10 seconds left in the first half of extra time. And stoppage time is being put on. Just 2 minutes of it, of stoppage time here in the first half of extra time, before we go on to the second half of extra time. It is 2 halves. And this will be moved up the near side. Doué sends back for Mendes. Arsenal not giving him any room, as has been the case again and again. How effective this Arsenal defense has been. Mikel Arteta, of how good his team has been, cannot let bad penalties get to their head. At the same time, you have to call that if you're the referees. PSG's players are very far apart from one another. Defenders, midfielders, and forwards. They're trying to get set, but nothing has come. Hakimi, through the far side, has 1 minute to work this out. Tries to do a cross, but that gets knocked away. That went off of Hikapié. 1-1 is the score. We're deadlocked. The last goal came at the 65-minute mark from Ousmane Dembele on a penalty kick. Mendes. Mendes sends this up ahead. Nobody on the left wing. Saliba moves this through the middle. Knocked away off Eze. Here's Warren Zaire-Emery to the middle. Nothing doing. Nani Madeke taking this back. Moving this away from all sorts of PSG traffic. 20 seconds left. And Arsenal's playing keep away for when the second half of extra time begins. Comfortable settling this one down. 10 seconds left. Sent down the distance. And this will exit out to the far side. That should run out the first half of extra time. And it will. So carry on to the second half of extra time. Still even at 1 apiece. That missed penalty does change everything here. And one of PSG's players is cramping. Declan Rice clearly livid at the missed penalty. And I thought it was going to be a penalty. Oh. It's a clear penalty for Arsenal. Daniel Seibert decides giving against it. 9 times out of 10, that's a penalty. However, the counter argument is that Madeke was holding Mendes. However, but that doesn't excuse anything. Madeke was pulling Mendes down. He's holding onto Mendes' arm. You can say that should have been a penalty. What a badly missed call by these referees. Now in the midst of it, as both teams are getting some water breaks, as part of the halftime of extra time, a Joker sighting in Budapest. And Martin Odegaard, Arsenal's captain, trying to rally the team back from that. So as we know it, to summarize it, it's Kai Havertz from a difficult angle to the top left corner, assist by Leandro Trossard. Ousmane Dembele converting the penalty, a right-footed shot to the bottom left corner. At the foul drawn by Kavica Kvaratskhelia. Lucas Berardi and Ilya Zabarnyi are the new substitutes here, as they replace as Berardi replaces Vitinha. Before that, Warren Zaire-Emery replaced Fabian Ruiz. So it's 2 substitutions for PSG. They have used up 5 substitution slots. They're now down to their last one. So we'll have to see how this pans out, with Zabarnyi and Berardi subbing in now. Lucas Chevalier took over for 2 of those games in the penalty shootout. But now, it's now or never here for PSG and Arsenal. Is it going to be decided here in extra time, or will we need a penalty shootout? Ilya Zabarnyi replaces Marquinhos. Berardi replaces Vitinha, as Vitinha is hurt. Second half of extra time is underway. And the last goal was scored at the 65-minute mark, with Dembele converting the penalty kick. New center-back duo. As it is Pacho and Zabarnyi. Hakimi will wait. Decides not to go back for Zabarnyi. Pacho. Barcola setting up ahead at the near side right wing. Lead pass up ahead. On the chase down, this is Gonzalo Ramos. PSG has some fresh legs here. They have the fresher legs. They have the fresher energy. There's a capability that they could convert here as Zabarnyi gets the feed from Pacho. Pacho waiting. And he'll defer it to the middle for Berardi. Far side now as PSG takes their time with the ball. Lead pass for Barcola. Barcola headers it. Raya dives on it. He's out of the box. Arsenal does a good job playing keep away. And he's very alert. David Raya and the Arsenal defense helping one another out. With one save, PSG trying to get the rebound. He anticipated it, and Arsenal anticipated that the rebound was going to come in front, not to Gonzalo Ramos. As Arsenal waiting this one out. Arsenal wanting to clear, but PSG with the fresh legs, they get this back in to the far side. Sent in deep, Gonzalo Ramos. Rice challenges one of the PSG players, and from the outside the box, a shot gets blocked. Zabarni will wait and deliver to the right side for Hakimi. Hakimi. Zaire Emery. Back for Hakimi. Hakimi centers up. That was deflected right onto the breadbasket of Raya. Gonzalo Ramos did a good job sticking with it. Raya lifts this up high as it will be settled down. At the center of the pitch, Arsenal. Not getting a lot of offensive chances, but they converted on the only shot on goal. David Raya. Once again, this one's a bullet pass. And it's moved up. Lucas Beraldo settled this one down for a moment, but it's kept alive by Izzy. Through the far side. Foul called. Free kick for Noni Madeke or Desiree Doué catching up to him. Doué. How much longer does PSG have? How much energy does Arsenal have? As Doué tangled up his man, Madeke. PSG's guys paying attention to the left side. Safonov readies up. Declan Rice to take the free kick, as has been the case again and again. Wanting to get all the Arsenal players set up. The Gunners want to get this through. Has the arm up. The signal. The kick. Safonov sees it. Cleared out. Arsenal wanting to stick with it. Ramos in trouble. Has Rice on his face. The first back for Zabardi. And now it's Pacho. Who'll get to clear this down. Takes the time of it. And does get the clear. Zaire Emery is at the near side. Settles the ball down. A shove. Zaire Emery shakes off his man. Martinelli comes back to defend. And does a good job in doing so. Long stretch pass. Nobody home. 2-4 for Gyökeres. In control is PSG. João Neves takes his time. 87 in navy blue. That's the jersey uniforms of PSG. Arsenal in the red and white. Hakimi. A lot of passing here for PSG as they're looking for the perfect setup. Beraldo back for Pacho. And to the far side for Mendes. Fighting through all sorts of pain. Beraldo again. Lucas Beraldo, one of the substitutes. Sends this back. Mendes. Nuno Mendes. Right across for Zabarni. With a little oomph on that kick to get it at an angle. Hakimi. Sends this back. And gets this back again. Hakimi. Beraldo up ahead. Gonzalo Ramos decides not to advance up. We're 5.5 minutes into the second half of extra time. Zabardi moves it up ahead. Hakimi. It's been a facilitator here. Here's Neves. Zubimendi, well defended. And it looked like this could deflect it out for a quarter kick. Or is it? Both teams try to fight through all sorts of emotions. It can get tense. It can get stressful. And here in a corner kick, Desiree Doué will take it. PSG has 11 corners. Arsenal has just 2. The strike. That's an easy header away by Arsenal. But PSG will come back with it. Matvey Safonov out of his goal to play it. William Pacho. Slowing the action down for Nuno Mendes. PSG has possessed the ball for a vast majority of this game. They've been good at creating chances. Arsenal has been their biggest test and they played as such. Doué plays catch. Mendes through the far side. Arsenal has nullified PSG for the most part from every angle, no matter how many chances PSG is getting. Here's Neves. Oh, wait. Now let's move back. Nuno Mendes up the far side. Delivered along. And this combination has been lethal for PSG between the forwards. Their attack is among the best. In UEFA, that is. Arsenal among the UEFA's best defenses, if not the best defense. Desiree Doué. Waiting. And dropping his back to the front. Raya, the save. And Raya is always the favorite to being the best goalkeeper in this entire tournament. Gonzalo Ramos. He waited for that ball. Arsenal advances ahead. Could not get more out of this as PSG has several headers. And getting this out. The Gunners have it back. And it's going to be delivered back by Zubimendi. Through the far side. This went past Hincapié. Or rather Timber. Jurrien Timber advances ahead. Saliba. Trades spots. Now it's back for Timber. It's part of the Dutch national team. David Raya. Raya up ahead. Down the near side. He does enough to clear this out. 6 minutes left in extra time. And Mikel Arteta and Luis Enrique coaching the game of their lives. PSG trying for 2 in a row. Arsenal trying for their first ever. Both coming off league championships with their domestic leagues. Eberechi Eze moves up ahead. Through a hole. The pass could not connect for Madeki. Safonov has a hold of it. 1-1 our score. Havertz and Dembele the goal scorers. PSG plays some more waiting games. Nuno Mendes through the far side. And it's delivered back as PSG is comfortable. PSG and Arsenal, if this score remains high, they both will go to the penalty shootout. We have not seen a penalty shootout in the Champions League Final in quite some time. As Joao Neves takes his time. Haven't seen a penalty shootout in the Champions League knockout stage this year. Could this be it? Ilya Zabarnyi. Achraf Hakimi. Moving up towards the near side as it heads back for Zabarnyi. PSG plays catch down the near side is Barcola. Barcola of a cross. That was knocked away by Gabriel. Doué starts it up again. Near side. Nothing doing, but it will be recollected by the Parisians. Baraldo. Over to Neves. Baraldo again. There's a Pacho. The setups here have been tremendous. Desiree Doué moves us up near side, and here's Hakimi. Doué takes his time of it. No easy looks here in the 18-foot box. Arsenal's making them earn it. Neves. Back over to Zabarnyi. Over to Pacho. And Arsenal is just frustrating PSG. Possession numbers don't matter. It's almost like that this is critical from Arsenal playing defensively. Lucas Beraldo to Ilya Zabarnyi. Can PSG get something here? Neves loses his defender. And Joao Neves to the box. Bounces up. Raya grabs it. It could have gone anywhere as Neves Makes his defender slip up, and down goes the Arsenal attacker, yellow for Mendes. And since Hincapié went down, defending Neves, that's what PSG should have done in moving this up. David Raya just stood with it. It's been 10 years since we had a penalty shootout in the Champions League Final. You think of all the times in which there have been all sorts of duels. Real Madrid won 5-3 on penalties against Atletico Madrid in the 2016 edition of the Champions League Final. That was the last time a Champions League Final went to a penalty shootout. That game was played at San Siro in Milan. And it was Cristiano Ronaldo who scored the game-clinching goal in the penalty shootout. PSG had the ball for 72% of the time. Arsenal for just 28% of the time. 19-4 the total shot attempts. 4-1 on target. Matvey through the far side. Arsenal trying to make this count. Centering pass hits aside the goal. That was a shot from Jurrien Timber. And we're 1 minute away from seeing a decision there was stoppage time or not. That was all Timber. He wanted to shoot this on. The quick attack gets nullified. This will be Arsenal ball. 1-1. Our scoreline here at this stage of the game. They know where they're heading. The frustration that they're looking at throughout their faces. Eza will drop back. Zubimendi waits. Delivers this back over to Rice. Rice up the far side as Arsenal trying to get one last look before the stoppage time begins. Across. Gonna get through as this bounces up. Settle down. Here is Gyökeres here. A chance. Bounces up and wide. Arsenal will have a corner. That's what Mikel Arteta wants. This is it. A chance for Arsenal to seal it. How many minutes will we get? The execution's going to matter as William Pacho blocked that shot from Victor Gyökeres. Season on the line for both teams. A corner kick to decide it. It'll be for the far side as everybody gets set. William Saliba. Set up at the front. The whistles at a maximum here from the PSG faithful. Saliba and Gabriel set up at the front. The taller guys wanting to get the header up front. Knocked away by PSG. This will come back down. Arsenal fighting for every inch, every meter. Another cross, set up front, knocked away. Rice had this knocked away. Another Arsenal corner. And there it is. 120 minutes is not enough. We'll need a penalty shootout. It's our first time in 10 years in which we'll have this. And one of these teams will be crowned champion. Havertz at 6 minutes. Dembele at 65 minutes. You know, the last time this was settled between the two teams residing in the city of Madrid. The Stadio San Siro in Milan. That game was a rematch of the 2014 final. The second time in the tournament's history that both finals were decided in the same city. Very rare come to finals from where we see Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, or Manchester United or Manchester City. Liverpool, very rare we see Chelsea or Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea or Arsenal in such a regard. All 5 of Real's players score in the penalty shootout. Lucas Vazquez, Marcelo, Gareth Bale, Sergio Ramos, and Cristiano Ronaldo to beat out Antoine Griezmann, Gabi, and Saul. The only one from Atletico Madrid who hadn't scored was Juan Fran. That Real Madrid team included Dani Carvajal, Pepe, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, and Karim Benzema. Nacho was on the bench. James Rodriguez was on the bench. And that was a Real Madrid team managed by Zinedine Zidane. 1-1 after 120 minutes. Now on to the penalty shootout. So now, decisions to be made. The fewest pass attempts by an outfield player in the Champions League Final in the last 10 years, minimum 65 minutes played. Saka finished with 8 tonight. Martin Odegaard finished with 7. Erling Haaland had 3 against Inter just 3 years ago. Everybody's out there on the pitch getting ready for the penalty shootout. Tied at 1 after 120. And it's not enough. And we should have all of this settling down. Christian Mosquera shown the yellow card for unsportsmanlike conduct. Declan Rice as well for unsportsmanlike conduct. Alongside manager Mikel Arteta. Bad fouls resulting in yellow cards for Nuno Mendes, Victor Gyökeres, João Neves, Bukayo Saka. Kai Havertz scored 6 minutes in. Matched by Ousmane Dembele 65 minutes in. It is both Declan Rice and Achraf Hakimi on the coin toss. PSG wins the coin toss. It's Daniel Seibert. Settles this both down for both teams. So now, we'll have this go through. PSG has never lost a penalty shootout. A game that started at 12 p.m. American Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Central European Time. But now as the penalty shootout is going to start. It's going to decide the Champions League winner for the first time in 10 years. PSG won decisively last year. This is not as decisive. It is tight. It is suffocating. It is best offense versus best defense. And the best defense in UEFA lived up to its part. Gonzalo Ramos is going to be first up. Arsenal trying for their first Champions League trophy. PSG trying for their second consecutive Champions League trophy. David Raya and Matvey Safonov are the netminders here. PSG elected to go first. Gonzalo Ramos is first up for PSG. They won the coin toss. This is a high-octane offense that loves to score in bunches. They can win track meets. But can they win grueling matches like this one? Let's see how this goes for Ramos on the first one. Arsenal fans on their feet, waiting to complete a perfect season and a continental double. Perhaps a trick up of Ramos' sleeve? Could it be the case? PSG already has a star. Can they add another? Now some discussions between the referee and both Safonov and Raya just before we get into the penalty shootout. Some fist bumps between the two goalkeepers as Raya, who will be set to represent Spain in the FIFA World Cup this year, so heads over to North America. Night has fallen here at Budapest. We might see more here. It's 8:52 p.m. at Budapest. That's Gonzalo Ramos. What will we have on the first kick? He's ready. Steps up. Top right corner. A really good kick. A fantastic kick. Which David Raya got faked out. Just like the way Ousmane Dembele did. 1-0 PSG. And the first one up for Arsenal is Victor Gyökeres. He scored 2 big penalty kills. Scored 2 big penalties in the last few months. How will this fare? 4 out of 4 in his career. Gyökeres on Safonov. He changes the side. Bottom right corner. Evens this up. Of course, you know the magic that Gyökeres can bring on the penalty shootout. He faked left. Went right. Safonov thought he was going to go left. His right, that is. And switches it up. He scored that shootout. Now it's the youngster, Desiree Doué. His birthday will be next Wednesday. And he's trying to get himself an early birthday present with a second straight Champions League trophy. He'll be 21. Coming in with speed, slows. Bottom left. How about that? That's just fancy footwork from the youngster Doué. Part of the future of football on the European side. Now for Arsenal. Who are they going to send up next? They already used up Gyökeres. Now it's Eberechi Eze, who has not taken a penalty for Arsenal. But this is a huge opportunity for him to capitalize. In this spot after Bukayo Saka subbed out. And after Kai Havertz subbed out. Or did he? Eze. Oh, he missed it! We're looking at the goalkeeper. Oh, and Safonov catches a break. Safonov moved to his left. Eze shot towards his right. He doesn't even dive for it. And Eze missed it just wide of the goal post. He got that decision horribly wrong. Nuno Mendes has 4-4 in his career on penalties, including shootouts. up against David Raya. And Raya is going to have to know about the situation and change up the tactics as this penalty shootout is going on. Probably play some mind games on Mendes. We don't know. Here he goes. Stop by Raya! Arsenal have a chance to even this up at 2. And Raya comes up, changing up the tactics. Let the dive to the left. Stuck to his knowledge. He predicted left, his left. And he knew it. And Eberechi Eze, you're off the hook for now. Should Declan Rice score, he will be headed to the World Cup on England's national team. Rice being their key midfielder and one of the faces of their team. Here he is. Can he stand up when it matters? Yes! Bottom right. We're tied. Just confidently onto the bottom right corner. Squared up at 2 goals apiece in the penalty shootout. Matvey Safonov doesn't even dive for the ball, just like he did last time. And here's Achraf Hakimi. Had a penalty save in the Africa Cup of Nations. He knows he's been in this situation before. Looking to capitalize. Here he comes. Opposite side. To the left, and it's 3-2. PSG takes the lead in the penalty shootout again. Arsenal need to match. All squared up as David Raya guessed wrong. Hakimi switched up to the left side, and Kavica Kvaratskhelia fist pumps through the air. PSG needing a save and a goal. Here is Gabriel Martinelli. Has a long way to go, but he's a goal scorer, and he scores here. Left side is Matvey Safonov has yet to record a save in this penalty shootout. He's yet to record a save, period. Squared up at 3 apiece. Eberechi Eze missed one. David Raya saved one. And Paris Saint-Germain have a chance to go up again. We're in the 5th round of the penalty shootout. And here it is. A chance for immortality for PSG. David Raya, knowing that this is on the line. Lucas Beraldo. A substitute here. Quick thinking. Right side. Score. Very calm with it. Doesn't want things to go the wrong way. A save or a miss ends it. A goal extends it. And Gabriel is chosen for this moment. He tries to score to keep the penalty shootout going. This is it. So here it is. Gabriel to keep this going. And on to a 6th round. This is it for PSG. If Gabriel misses or if Safonov saves, PSG wins it all. 4-3 is the score. Can this be? Comes down to this kick. Oh, he missed! Way over, and PSG has defended their Champions League title. The trophy is staying in Paris. They're the 10th team in history to successfully defend their Champions League title. And Luis Enrique joins a select few. And PSG is at the top of the football world. Overcome with emotion. Finally letting go of the drama that came with all the exit of Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid. And the party starts in Paris. What a game this is played here at Budapest. PSG wins 4-3 on penalties. A tough final for Arsenal. But defense can only do so much when offensive attack reigns supreme. And never stop singing is the mentality from both teams. It's going to hurt Arsenal, even though they won the Premier League title. The emotion, one side with tears of joy, the other with tears of sadness. The fight that PSG has shown all throughout on full display. And what a game that Luis Enrique has managed. Everybody played their part. And your man of the match is Vitinha, as he wins the match here between these two clubs. We'll stay here for the festivities and all the celebrations here between PSG as they celebrate for a second consecutive year, successfully defending their Champions League title. Arsenal has completed just 69 passes in the first half, which was the lowest total recorded since 2004 by any team in a Champions League final. It's the first Champions League final where both teams found the net since 2018. And PSG has netted 45 goals this Champions League season, the highest tally of any team. The goal scored by Dembele was his first career goal in a Champions League final. He didn't score last year. He had 28 goals in the Champions League, but never in a Champions League final. For PSG, he scored 20 goals this year, providing 11 assists in 40 matches. Mr. Ballon d'Or has been outstanding. Arsenal has lost just one of their last 117 matches in all competitions after leading at halftime. PSG did not win any of the games in which they were behind at the interval. 3 draws, 5 losses. That changed tonight. And Gabriel made 8 clearances in the first half, at least double the number of any other player in the pitch at that time. Kai Havertz scored in his last 6 matches for Arsenal, or provided assists in 5 of his last 6. Goal versus Manchester City, assist versus Newcastle, goal versus Burnley, an assist versus Crystal Palace, and a goal here versus PSG. And a possible angle in which he scored. Here we are at the post game. Oh. And that is how it ended. PSG has won and defended their title after Gabriel missed. Now, they have just finished the inscription of the trophy. Back-to-back Champions League Final trophies. They have made football exciting. The celebration has just begun. So stay along here as we get the trophy presentations. As PSG persevered all throughout, all year long. They were 11th in the Champions League seeding after the group phase. After the league phase, that is. Arsenal finished first. Well, as we see about PSG, their style of football is one that can be sustained. The penalty kick from Gabriel and Eze, those will go down in infamy for Arsenal. The Gabriel penalty miss wasn't even close. Way too high. And Matvey Safonov is a good goalkeeper in his own right. However, however, Safonov, he's no Gianluigi Donnarumma. But at some point, you'd think that he's going to elevate himself. The whole game and the tactics on both sides, they mesh well here to defend that 1-0 lead. It kept Arsenal alive here for a long time. But David Raya has been Arsenal's stalwart at the back. So has Gabriel. Ian Williams Saliba. Here, so as the celebration starts, we'll say goodbye here from Budapest. I am Alec Nava saying so long from Puskás Arena.